Whew, man, yeah. That was a good workout.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay?
It was hot. It was heavy. I was dripping sweat.
At least I got you working out for once.
Yeah, but I took a shower and I was all clean before I came over. Now I gotta take another shower.
Did you do that for you tried to make it you smell good for me or something?
After what I was working on this morning, it was necessary.
I mean, I need one too.
I got some deodorant if you need it in my bag.
Dude, I have been up since 3:30 this morning. I had to take my mom down to the airport.
I was up at 3:30.
Yeah, I was
Still up.
Oh, still up.
Still
Okay,
up, yeah.
Yeah. So I am running on a couple of Starbucks energy shot drinks, which I don't normally drink, and I think I've had 3 giant cups of coffee today. So
I pounded 2 Monsters on my way here.
all right, good.
One was an accident. It started leaking because it fell when I was trying to leave Dollar General and had a tiny little pinhole. And I didn't know it till I got out of the car at an auto parts place to run in real quick. And I smelled it in the back.
Did you shotgun it?
Not quite. I let it settle for a minute, and then I just kind of pounded it. So I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah, me too. I'm on my
Wide awake,
second one of
alert.
these, my little tropical thing I have
You just
going on
poured
here.
the first one. How are you on the second one? You drinking like me?
I poured the second one while I was upstairs, yes.
Oh, already then. This is going to be a good night.
It's time to hit the trail, lock in those hubs, and throw it into low range. Because you are listening to Wheelin' with Keith and Johnny Orange. They're here to talk about 4x4s, trucks, and everything to do with enjoying the great outdoors. Buckle up. Here's your hosts, Keith and Johnny Orange.
All right, John, I got to thank you for busting your butt with my latest parts acquisition.
No worries.
For the new project, which by the way here, I need to figure out what I'm going to call this project. Now, we know it's an F350. We know it's an 08 F350, which by the way, I'm half tempted. I swear to God, I am half tempted to drive it until it blows up, because the other day I'm down at Foxfire Fixins, family local restaurant, you know. We've talked about them before. And I pull in to go get my Sunday morning Bloody Mary, and there is my truck sitting there. Now,
Nice.
I'm not saying a truck like mine. I'm saying my truck, the one that I've just recently acquired, but I haven't picked up from the company I've purchased it from yet, because they're cleaning it out.
Gotcha.
And I was
Apparently they're
told
still driving it.
I was told the engine was blown.
Yeah.
I'm like, I go in and I'm like, and Ken, guy I know, is driving it, and I go, thought the engine's blown in that truck. And he's like, well, yeah. And I'm like, well, why is it in the parking lot out here? And he goes, well, actually, the engine runs good. It's just the antifreeze is full of oil. Because I guess the oil cooler is what's bad on it, but you have to pull the cab off to do it.
Ooh.
And,
That sucks.
and you know, I did look into, is there a redneck way of bypassing the 6.4 oil cooler? And we all know the 6.0 and the 6.4s are garbage.
Yeah.
You know, hate us, you know, go ahead and bash us on every social media you want, folks.
We're still not going to care.
Yeah, exactly. I get in that argument with people all the time. We've said before, the 6.0, 6.4s are one of the garbage motors of all time. But so the 6.4, but so I go out there and I fire the thing up, and man, she just purrs. She sounds so good. And I'm like, but I'm pretty sure what I'm going to do. I did look on eBay and what the sold auctions are going for on core 6.4s, ones that are rebuildable that don't have like a rod through the block.
Yeah.
They're selling for like $2,000, $2,500.
Holy hell.
So I'm like, this thing runs. I
Yeah.
might be able to sell this running, and I can show a buyer
Yeah.
the running engine and the transmission for that matter, and recoup all of my purchase cost of the 2 trucks that I've purchased to.
I saw the one you got parked out there.
Yeah, which by the way, there's another thing. I mean, this was a weird act of God or whatever you call it. I was told the transmission is blown out in that truck. Now, the last time I went to go move that truck, sure enough, you went and put it in drive, and it's slipping, and it's barely moving forward. So Preston and I the other day, Sunday before he went back to his mom's house, I said, hey, I says, let's go down and pick up the Dodge, because I'd like to possibly start pulling the 12 valve out of the 96 Cummins this week, and that's got 555,000 miles on it. And And I'm no kidding. That's the odometer says 555.
Nice.
Which is kind of neat because 55's always been kind of a lucky number for me.
Yeah, there was a something with 55. I remember.
Well, Route 55 Transport's
Yeah.
my old company. I have a 55 Chevy. I use 55 for all of my PIN numbers. Oh, wait a minute.
5555. Got it.
So, anyways,
Keith's password is password 55.
oh no, yeah. So we go down, and so I said to Preston, I said, we're taking the excursion. I said, I got all my tow stuff in here. I said, I'm gonna try to drive it back to the house. I said, if the trans blows completely, or if it just won't move forward, you're gonna tow me tow strap, because he's done that once before. He did a tow strap deal with me before, so he's comfortable with it. He's like, yeah, it's fine. I mean, it was only 17, but I've raised him right. And so we get down there, and
Redneck skills for the win.
yeah, there you go.
Oh, try that again.
Oh, there you
There
go.
we
Cheers. So I get down there and I fire the thing up, and I put it in drive, and it's slipping. And just out of curiosity, I'm like, what happens if I throw it in like first or second? Boom, throw it in first. Boom, takes right off.
Ha!
So I go, okay, manually shift it up to drive. Preston starts following me. So I'm going up the road, and I'm feeling the shifts. I've got it in drive, and I'm like, 1, 2, 3, boom, overdrive. Clicks right in. And I've got this thing up to 85 miles an hour.
Ha!
Supposedly.
Well, yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly. So
That's a phrase from Letterkenny. Allegedly.
Preston tells me later on, he's like, dude, the excursion couldn't keep up to you. And now, it was a hairy ride.
Well, it's a Ford.
The thing's all over the place. Okay, all over the road.
Yeah.
It's bouncing like crazy. And I'm like, does this thing not even have shock absorbers? No, it doesn't. No, they're not blown out. I got underneath it when I got it back. And I was like, I looked underneath it and I'm like, they're all missing. They're just, I think the guy
just gone.
because I think the fleet mechanic for the last company, I think he just stole them off of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this thing's bouncing all over the road. But I'm like, man, this trans is shifting great. And so I started playing with it. We actually drove it to the local car wash.
It's a dumb question. Did you check the trans fluid?
No. We took it to the local car wash, and I power washed all the grease off the engine, because I'm like, if I'm going to pull it, it's going to be better if I'm not. Yeah, so I drove it over there. Well, I'm playing around. The shifter on it, I don't know what's going on with it, but if you pull it down into drive, it will slip. It moves forward, so it's not in neutral. It's not like the shifter's off on it, but it will slip. If you pull it into second and then you put it back up into drive, it operates fine. So
The cable.
It might be. I don't know if
It's got to be a stretched or pinched or broken cable or mount.
but it doesn't seem like there would be there'd be any slipping. It seems like there should be
If it's there's still going to be like a detent on the inside that changes where it's an auto, right? Yeah. So I know.
Yeah, it's a 47 RE. Two-wheel drive. By the way, if anyone here is looking for a 47 RE two-wheel drive trans that is probably just fine, because it was rebuilt 2 years ago. It does not have 555,000 miles on it. It was rebuilt 2 years ago by a very reputable shop, and that's why they were confused when the trans went out, supposedly. Like I said, this trans is shifting fine. If anybody's two-wheel drive Cummins 47 RE, hit us up at Wheelin'. I will give you a heck of a deal, because I have no need for it. But anyways, go ahead, John.
I was going to say, I just know usually there's still like a valve body, and that's like the fluid changes through that. I don't fully understand automatics. I know very little about them. But if it's not fully
all magic.
shifting between them, or if it's engaging like multiple solenoids, that could cause it.
It might be what's going on with it
Yeah.
for sure. All I can tell you right now is if you take this thing and you put it in second, and you put it back up into drive, it shifts absolutely
Your
beautifully.
trans is fine.
It's fine.
It's linkage.
Yeah,
It's either a linkage or an electronic. Well, it wouldn't be electronics. It's a
and right
it's a
from a stop
mechanical
sign.
problem.
If you stop from a stop sign, it goes through all the gears. So it's not like you have to put it back down in second every time. It's only when you initially take
Yeah,
off.
it's definitely something with your shift linkage, be it lever to whatever goes into the trans.
Now, of course, I was half tempted to call up the company and be like, hey, you guys can still use this truck. But I got looking at the truck. It's got some frame rust issues, as we knew.
No shocks.
It's got no shocks. The body is shot on it. The
Yeah,
cab.
I looked at it. It's still not.
Yeah, there's a lot of great parts, some good doors, okay bed, decent front end, nice grill, except for the driver's seat, really nice interior. So if anybody out there in the Wheel and Listener world that happens to be in Michigan, if you're looking for 96 Dodge 2500 parts, I'll make you a smoking deal on parts. Might even give you a sticker or something. But if you stop by,
Yeah, we need to order more of those. I'm down
do.
to. Yeah, I gave one to Kyle at work there.
I shipped the
Which
last
reminds
3
me,
I had
Kyle,
out.
because I know you listen to the show. I still need to see a picture of that on your Jeep, if you don't mind, please, sir.
All right. Well, I did ship out my last 3 stickers the other day to our buddy Bernie.
Oh,
Out
nice.
in Arizona. So he had asked for a couple of them. He's actually in Michigan right now. I'm hoping to
nice.
see him before he leaves, but I think
Yeah.
he's leaving next week. I don't think it's going to happen because he's in the UP.
Yeah.
But
I got the package planning to go out tonight for our new Patreon subscriber. I apologize, I'm blinking out on your name at the moment, but I got a few different ones together for you, so I'm gonna get those sent out to you.
it was me, right?
The other one.
Oh.
You didn't subscribe to the level to get stickers. Come on.
All right. So anyways, speaking of all these parts, we're talking about, and we went around in a big full circle here. We were talking about the name though.
Yeah.
So we know it's an F-350. Now, here is the parts that I have acquired for the F-350 project in the last, I'm going to say week. It really has been the last week because it's been the last time since we broadcasted here.
Something
or
like that, yeah.
podcasted. I've obviously acquired the 12-valve Cummins to drop into it. I have acquired the G56 6-speed manual transmission to drop into it. I have acquired the manual transmission brake pedal. I already had the clutch pedal. I have acquired the the fairly rare 08 to 10 manual transmission tilt steering column plastic, so I can get rid of the shifter and I can have no hole on the steering column.
You know, we just talked about that, and I didn't even register that that's what those parts would do, but that makes it so much better.
Yeah, so
That's
I can
awesome.
pull the shifter out of my tilt
Nice.
column and I can put the plastics on and it looks factory. I still have PRNDL on the dash, but I
Yeah.
can actually spray paint that, or I can put
Electrical
Cummins
tape.
there or something there.
Electrical tape.
Yeah, exactly. Or the name of whatever we build here. So, and then 2 things that I bought, which I'm going to call like foo-foo build or like whatever they call them.
Frilly crap.
Frilly crap. So I have been in love ever since I was, I would have been about 20 years old. Ultimate Adventure, one of the first Ultimate Adventures, and as you all know, I did Ultimate Adventure last year for 2021. I have heard
SOB.
rumor that it may not be happening, or I'm for 2020. I have heard rumors that it may not be happening for 2021. We're gonna see. I hope it does. Anyways, the 2020 Ultimate. So way back, I want to say it was 99 or 2000 Ultimate Adventure. They took a brand new Ford Super Duty and they put it on 46-inch Michelin military tires.
I like
and
it.
took it on Ultimate Adventure. Now they only did like a 4-inch lift. I have done a lot of following on big military tires since then and Super Duties.
You had some really nice ones for quite a while there. I remember.
did, yeah.
Those were awesome tires.
There are a number of guys. Now, I'm not talking about the guys out there that say you got to have like a 10-inch left to fit 37s, because we're talking fender cutting here.
Yeah.
With some fender cutting, nominal fender
Excuse me.
cutting,
Gee.
there are actually companies out there that are building like brush trucks, and they're building they build the Mega Raptor. That's another one. If you look at, I think it's like megaraptor.com. It's spelled with a Super Duty, something like that. I might have the website wrong. Just Google Mega Raptor. But anyways, there are people running 42-inch military tires without a lift on Super Duties with some nominal fender cutting.
Nice.
With about a 4-inch lift and some fender cutting, they're running 46-inch military tires.
I'm on board with this.
Well, I mean, it seems like a lot of tire for a daily driver, but of course I'm tempted.
Yeah.
I am tempted. But here's
Have grinder, we'll cut.
well, there's 2 things that have happened in the last week. And these are both Facebook Marketplace, which is a dangerous place for me to hang out.
Good God, is that website bad? Oh.
And I don't know if it's the state of the economy, but have you noticed lately there's a lot of smoking deals on there?
Yeah.
So is
Like
that
the
are people-
gentleman I'm going to probably buy a TIG torch from at some point. They just got it on there for $15.
Are people running out of money right now or something? Like you
I mean,
and I are
we all knew that
gainfully
was gonna
employed.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah, but you and I are gainfully employed. Are people all running out of Biden bucks? Is that what's going on?
Probably, yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
So the first one I ran into, there was a guy that, and here's a, you know what? Who cares? Regular show. I'm still going to get into it. A little bit of political or social feelings here. Okay. I've had a few of my little special.
Now it's time to turn your radio to NPR.
Yeah, there you go.
Or just keep listening.
My special drinks here.
Yeah.
So there was a guy that had a set, and you just saw him out there. Fairly rare, out of production now, Mickey Thompson 20-inch wheels for a 99 to 04 Ford Super Duty.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, he had those on there on Marketplace. He had literally posted them, it said 9 minutes ago. And with 35-inch mud terrains that probably only have 20 or 30% tread on them. They're not great tread. But he had posted them on there for $200. I mean, the scrap aluminum alone is worth that. Now, I know that you and I have talked before that I'm not into the big donk rims or the big 20s and things like that. But like I said earlier, I'm very interested in the military tires on the Super Duties. And with most of the military tires, the 42s, the 44s, the 46s, even the 54s, those are all 20-inch rims. So what I was looking at was the fact that you can take a set of military tires and you put them on a set of aftermarket 20-inch rims, which I've done before. I did on my old 77 F250 many, many years ago. But the problem is, because I've done a lot of reading, the guys who've done them on the 05 and newer Super Duties, the offset is wrong on the factory rims. The factory rims are so inset into the frame because they have the 4-inch wider axles.
Yeah.
That what ends up happening is if they run the factory 20-inch rims with military tires, they scrub on the frame like bad. So what they end up having to do is run wheel spacers, or they run aftermarket wheels. Well, 99 to 04 had a 4-inch narrower axle, so the offset on the wheels was more, but they never had a factory 20-inch wheel from 99 to 04. So it was aftermarket only. Well, I ran into these $200 set of aftermarket rims, and I was like, and they're heavy duty, as you saw. They're not like the stupid little spoke ones. These are like the Alcoa.
These are like my kind of heavy duty. These things are stupid.
Very beefy, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it, and I'm like, theoretically, these are, so they're the offset for the 99 to 04, but if I put them on the 05, well, the 08 truck that I'm doing, so it's the 05 to 17 style axle, theoretically, instead of running wheel spacers, they should fit just fine, because I don't want to run wheel spacers with big-ass tires like that. And $200. I mean, I couldn't pass it up.
Oh, God, no.
Then, the next day, the very next day, and of course, I'm not rolling in money, but the very next day, I'm going through Marketplace, and I'm looking at a couple of things, and I was looking for something else, and this guy's 4.5-inch rough country, which I know is not they're not the creme de la creme of off-road lift kits. They're kind of like the cheap off-road lift kit.
They're pretty durable, though.
They're durable. Oh, yeah, the stuff's very well built. He has an 08 to 10 lift kit, which is, you know, the same parts do work on most of them, but I think the Pitman arm and stuff's a little bit different. But anyways, he had the full rough country lift kit, which is like, MSRP is like $820 or something on it. He had it for $400, and I wasn't really looking to buy it, but it was all in good shape. Everything was in good shape, so I messaged the guy, and I know it was a lowball offer, but I said to him, I said, hey man, I'm not really looking to lift my truck, but it is cool pieces, and I may want them. I said, if you consider $200, I give you $200 for them. So he messaged me back, no way, I wouldn't do that. And then like 30 minutes later, he messaged me back. He goes, I do $250. And I go, all right, fine. So I had to drive 3 hours, 2.5 hours north of where I was. Drove up there the other day to pick up the stuff, and I get talking to the guy. It was funny because I pulled in. The guy's totally a truck guy. Now, I don't want to mention his name because I told him about the podcast, but you know he seemed like a very private individual.
Oh yeah.
But he had 3 badass fairly built Cherokees, XJ Cherokees. He had a second generation S10 on like 35s. Ow. He had a Bought an 03, 04 Duramax crew cab Chevy on like 37s.
Holy crap.
The guy had some really nice stuff and a lot of parts around there. So we're talking for a bit. And the guy, it's funny, the guy starts talking to me, and it was such a weird moment to me. He starts talking to me about some stuff that he watched on Motor Trend On Demand about the 2020 Ultimate Adventure. And he's like, yeah, I saw this, blah, 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 and Ultimate Adventure was the coolest thing. And I'm like, oh, and he starts talking about Ian Johnson and just a couple of things. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this and this and this. And he's like, and then he's like, wait a minute. And I go, because, and I said, yeah, I was on it. He goes, what do you mean you were on it? so I start telling him, I'm like, yeah, and I told him about Chad Quick Draw and everything. And I says, yeah, my buddy took me and, he's like, oh my God. He goes, I would have given you an even better deal. I'm like, no, that's fine, man. I'm like, here's your $250 we agreed on.
That's awesome.
And he's like, well, this other part here, I'll just give it. I'm like, no, dude, you don't have to give it to me. I'm not a celebrity. I'm like, it's pretty
nice.
So I told him about the podcast and everything. But then you'll love this, man. So the final part, and I know we're getting to the parts acquisition here because you and I are still in the hashtag Great Bourbon race here.
Yes, indeed. That's why I'm totally okay if you want to run this truck till the engine blows, because that's more time for me to get mine done.
Hey, I can still tow you with the 6.4. Oh,
but the bet was this project with the 12 valve.
Oh, all right, you dick. All right, whatever. So, anyways, so I had made a deal earlier in the week.
Yeah.
There was a guy that had a complete Ford King Ranch interior. Now, it was kind of an ironic thing to me because the truck I purchased is a 08 XL. It's got this straight bench seats. It still has air conditioning, but the bench vinyl seats are very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I like the crank windows, all right. I like the vinyl floor and all that, but the seats in that thing, I do not like.
Yeah.
And so I was going to grab some cloth seats or something. Well, I've always liked the look of the King Ranch. I'm not a leather fan, but I've always liked heated seats.
I love those seats. I moved one when I was at the dealership. Not to interrupt you there, but I moved one when I was at the dealership. I got to drive it from Ann Arbor back to Richmond, and that was comfortable. That was a fun drive.
Well, exactly.
And the leather just smells so good.
It does. It does.
These don't, but that did.
Well, we're going to talk about this here. So, my boy, I was kind of thinking, and I looked in Marketplace and stuff, King Ranch seats and stuff. My boy, Preston, had said to me, kind of ironically, you got to put King Ranch seats in it. And I said, I'm like, well, that'd be cool, but they're expensive. I mean, most of the King Ranch seats that you see out there, full of King Ranch interiors, you're talking $1,500, $2,000, even on eBay, $3,000.
I've never seen these go cheap.
So, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I started doing research on them, though. And I learned a little bit about the King Ranch, and maybe we'll do a whole King Ranch. There's actually a fascinating history behind it, by the way. We'll do maybe an episode about that.
I didn't know there was a history. I just thought it was an addition they made for...
It's actually through the King Ranch in Texas.
Wait, what?
There is
a real thing?
That's a real thing. There's a real King Ranch.
I assume it's a cattle ranch?
I
apologize,
so.
I keep coughing. I'm not sure what's going on.
You're all right,
here.
John. You're all right. So anyways, but I started doing some research. So, and I'll tell you just a little tidbit here. The King Ranch edition came out in late 03. Late 03, it was, so there's only a few 03s that are King Ranches, and most of your King Ranches you saw are 04 to 2015. Then they stopped the King Ranch till 2020. They brought the King Ranch back. But anyways, so when we're talking the first generation Super Duty, which of course we all know ran from 1999 to 2016, the King Ranch edition had essentially two generations. The first generation was late 03 to 07, and then 08 to 17, or late 16 is what it would be. So I started researching them. There was only a couple of differences. So, of course, if you know your Super Duties, in 08, they switched the dash, they switched the front end, they switched the interior all out. The 99, or I'm sorry, the 99, the 03 to 7 King Ranches they were a gray interior, gray dash, gray door panels. There was tan available, but most of them were gray dash, gray floors. And then they actually had those saddle leather tan, which I always thought was a weird combination,
Yeah.
but it looks pretty good when it is there.
Yeah.
And the up to 07, they used the real saddle leather, and it's not a Corinthian, it's something else, but they used a real saddle leather seat. And in up to 07, the heated seat button was on the side of the seat, so it's all a modular unit. Well, then in 08, they put the heated seat button on the dashboard, and they went to a synthetic. It's still real leather, but it's got like a synthetic blend.
Backing or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird deal because people weren't maintaining the seats as good. The 03 to 07 is a true saddle leather, and you have to a couple times a year put like a real thick like
conditioner,
leather conditioner.
Yeah,
on
they're
it.
like a Neat's foot oil or something.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Neat's foot oil. You
like a saddle.
Exactly, something like that. So they went to a less maintenance thing. So the ones that have that unique real leather smell are always the 07 and older.
Nice.
The 03 to 07. The 08 newer, they look beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, I did look at the pictures and stuff. The only difference in the seats really is the 07 and older does not have a seam down the headrest, and then 08 newer has a seam down the headrest, and they don't have armrest because they went to a wider console.
I wonder if that was maybe cheaper because they don't have to use one continuous piece of leather. I
That
don't
could
know.
be.
They could
That-
use scrap or something, makes it a little cheaper.
It might be. I'm not really sure. So I ran across on Facebook Marketplace. This guy had a full crew cab interior, door panels, dashboard, console, seats, everything for an 07 King Ranch. So, and pretty faded looking, and the driver's seat's a little torn up on the seat bottom and on the armrest. I already knew the seat bottoms are about $200 to replace. The armrests are like $70. But he wanted $1,000 for the whole interior, which was really a smoking deal.
Yeah.
But I messaged him and I said, hey man, I have an 08, so my dash is different, my door panels are different. I said, I only want the seats and the console. Even the console, I was thinking about going to an 08 console, but I'm like, I'm going to do stick shift, so I was like, the 07 console would be fine.
Yeah.
And so I got talking to him and back and forth, and long story short, I walked away for $440 with a King Ranch interior.
Awesome.
And
I
as
hate
you know,
you for that.
as you know, we are looking at it right now because it's sitting in the studio. with
I
us.
know. We help move it down. Threw my back out,
So
but whatever.
Johnny Orange helped me move my King Ranch interior, which is very faded. It's very worn looking. It has a decent
It's
look.
very restorable, though.
Yeah, the seat bottom driver seat is probably not redoable. We probably got to buy a seat bottom for that. But
I can
watched.
stitch it up for you. I mean, it's not going to look pretty, but it'll hold for a while.
Really? Are you decent at leather stitching?
No.
Oh, all right.
I said I can do it, but it won't look pretty.
Well, I really appreciate it,
It's
man.
like my welding.
But I got all
hold,
these
though.
parts here, and
Nice.
I just I figure I put another $300 in parts, and then a bunch of time into reconditioning these.
Yeah.
We're gonna see how they look.
You know that the irony is here, we're both swapping leather seats into our projects. Mine,
You're putting leather in the XJ?
so this was a few years back from my neighbor, who unfortunately has since passed away. We talked about that a while back. Mm-hmm. I got a 94 Grand Cherokee Limited from him that had an upgraded luxury leather limited seating package in it.
I remember that package.
Yeah,
That's a nice setup.
that is stupid comfortable.
Yes.
And that was one of the pieces that I kept from that project that's going into Project X.
Isn't that one of the first Jeeps that had the seat bolsters on the side that kind of like they were the
Yeah,
lower back
I
seat
think
bolsters?
so. I've never looked too much into the history of them.
I'm pretty sure that was the first one that had, or one of the first that ever had seat
Yeah.
bolsters.
It's a much easier swap to do in the newer than the Renix Edition XJs.
Okay.
Because you just swap the seat brackets. Oh, excuse me. My seat brackets were rusted through, so I got rid. Yeah, they were bad. So all my old seats are gone.
Okay.
So I took the entire seats, the brackets, everything from Rob's Jeep, and I'm gonna modify it and make those work in the XJ. They're gonna be electric seats, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I'm
You're
all
only
right
talking
with
2 or
that.
3 wires, aren't you?
2. Well, total of 4, 2 wires each.
Oh, darn.
But yeah, I can put those together, run them up through the console. It'll still be all tucked behind everything, look nice and neat.
Well, that's not going to do with these King
Yeah.
Ranch seats over here, too.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. The rear seats, there's a little bit more to it. Kind of the way I'm going to be redoing my floor, though, I'm going to make it a little simpler on the rear. Because you do have to trim some rear off the sides of the bottom.
Okay.
Because the ZJs are wider. So you got to trim like 5 inches of material
I would say
off.
they're 4 or 5 inches wider. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, so you got to trim that material down. But for now, I'm not even worrying about rear seats. I'm going to get the fronts in, and that's just for now.
Okay.
So there's a few things that were always on this build to be second.
Well, before we move on to your and I want to hear more
Yeah,
about
I want
your build.
to hear the rest of your project because I got updates on Pegasus, but nothing on XJ.
I want to hear those. But
Yeah.
so here's what I got to ask because I know we've been kind of beating around the bush on this thing. So as our listeners now know, and as I've told you, I'm taking an F350 XL, the basest model truck. I'm putting a King Ranch interior in it.
I like it.
I may or may not. Jury's still out. I'm definitely doing the Cummins 6-speed swap. I may or may not do bigger tires, lift kit. I haven't decided on that because I mean it's still gonna be my work truck, and I want to be able to get stuff in and out of the bed easily.
Yeah.
So I'm on the fence. Of course, our listeners, if you want to go on 4x4 talk and tell Keith that he needs to go to 42s, 46s. I'm not going to 54s. I don't care what you say. I'm not putting 54s on it.
That would be sweet. I got a picture of my dad
I'm
standing
not
next
building.
to a set of
I'm not building a mega truck here. So, if you,
I know where a nice Kodiak is if you want to do that.
oh jeez, if you're a crew cab,
I want to say yes, but I honestly don't remember.
okay. Well, anyway, so
I'll stop taking some pictures next weekend.
so
I
I'm
remember.
not like I still got a debate on that, but. So knowing that I'm going with a Cummins and an XL and I'm doing the King Ranch interior, here's a couple of ideas I've come up with for names because we still need to name this stupid project. All right. Now, I'm not going to just call it Project F350. Okay, that's overused. It's bland, whatever.
Maybe blonde too. I don't know.
So, all right. So here's some of them. I'm gonna start kind of rapid fire them. I've thought of XL Ranch because, of course, you get the base model and then the King Ranch. You know, or you call it King XL, or you know. Now,
Ooh, I got 3 suggestions.
so and yes, hang on. I have thought about calling it Project Hidden Valley. 'Cause- Hidden Valley Ranch.
You call it that or Wishbone if you're going that route.
Wishbone? I don't get that.
Wishbone Ranch?
Wishbone. What's a Wishbone Ranch?
It's ranch dressing made by a company called Wishbone. It's good.
I've never heard of that.
It's really good.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
So I have thought about calling it what was the other one that I came up with? King XL. I thought about calling it so this one has nothing to do with what I'm actually doing to it, but it has to do with the fact that it's going to be a work truck. And I thought about calling it the Demolisher.
ah,
You know, and then I've also thought about calling it so it's a ranch truck, but I thought about making it really big with the off-road tires and everything like that, and like kind of like, I don't know, not well, it would be EMP proof because it's gonna be a diesel
Mechanical
with a
diesel,
stick.
yeah.
Mechanical diesel with a stick. So I thought about calling it like King Graboid or Graboid Killer, you know, Tremor. Or well, okay, and let me back up because if I put the big tires on it, I'm gonna put lockers in the axles,
Yeah.
and I have some plans on that. So if I put lockers front and rear, it's gonna be the same as a Tremor, a Ford Tremor, which they make
Okay.
now, which has
Yeah.
the lockers front and rear. So I was thinking about like the movie Tremors.
I haven't seen it, but I know. of
What?
it. I haven't seen a lot of good movies. We established this last episode. Remember?
You've never
Or two
seen
episodes ago.
Tremors?
No.
Movie night.
It's so
We
funny
need to
watching.
go through all like 18 of those movies or how many ever there are.
What's so funny is watching all the audio peaks as we're recording, and we get to this part, and then yours are just like maxed out.
Oh my god. What about or we just call it Bert, who is the main
like Bert and Ernie from Sesame Street.
No, like
Like
Burt. Bert is the crazy dude from Tremors that's like into military trucks and big jacked up stuff, and so
I'm really like they said I got 3 ideas, but I'm really liking.
and none of them I've said so far.
Winner. I think I got a winner.
All right, let's hear what you say.
All right, so I was originally gonna say call it just the King or the Ranch.
The King or the Ranch, okay.
But I got a better one for you. I think this might win, and I'd love to hear some people's thoughts on this. King Cummins.
Maybe. Maybe.
It encompasses both, the majority of what you're doing, the
Yeah.
Ford and the Cummins swap.
And the King Ranch
It's
interior.
catchy. Yeah. It's catchy. I mean, you're building a badass truck here. Lifted,
Well,
big
it's also
tires,
6-speed.
King
You call
Ranch
it-
interior.
You could call it King 6. You could call
Yeah.
it...
That's your transmission, though. That's not really the heart. The heart of the swap is the engine.
King Cummins.
That's
here-
my vote. I'm voting King Cummins.
Here's what we need to do. We need to either put a poll or we need to have people suggest things on 4x4.
I can never figure out. Don't hit the mic with the glass. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, whatever.
If I could figure out how to do polls, I would do it.
I know how to do them.
All right, go
So,
with that.
we'll come up with a bunch of names.
Yeah.
I'll send some pictures. Maybe a week or two. It's going to be a little bit yet because the truck will be over here. And then, but so that's where I'm at. I am in parts collection mode. I have not turned a wrench on anything yet, but I have a bunch of parts sitting on my porch I haven't even brought inside yet. I have the King Ranch interior sitting here in the studio because
Nice.
I brought it down here, as you know, because I didn't want the cats, because unfortunately it was in a barn.
Yeah.
The guy totaled his truck and he pulled the interior out about 2 years ago, and because he was able to buy the truck back from the insurance company.
Nice.
He was going to put it in his truck that he has now, decided never to do it. Sold the interior to me, like I said, $440. I couldn't pass that
Yeah,
up.
that's smoking price. Good lord.
But it unfortunately has a slight odor of like mouse piss. I mean, it's not strong, but
you can wash most of that out.
it definitely needs a good cleaning, and then
Yeah.
the conditioning of the leather. It'll smell better, but I didn't want the cats to get onto it, so I took it down to
Yeah.
the studio here, and which thank you again
Yeah,
for
no worries.
helping. But and then I've
I
got the
will say this,
G56
these
sitting on
seats
my
are some of the-
sidewalk.
Yeah, these are some of the stupidest heavy seats I've ever moved.
The
Holy
fronts
hell.
aren't bad, but that
rear's
what is-
good.
it's I know it's got
God.
that foldable storage pan in the bottom, but
Did you clear the storage area out? Is there crap in there like bricks?
a
We
couple
didn't
of
know about?
shotguns, I think. But that was
Oh, sweet. What the later?
I just
Allegedly. Some
yeah,
shotgun.
it was. I was like, man, what is going on? That was the heaviest rear seat
Yeah.
I've ever carried in my life.
My God.
What is
I
in
can
that
usually
thing?
throw those things over my shoulder and just
I
walk
know.
with them. This, no.
Well, right now I'm not going to say the name of it because obviously it's a. You're always worried about things with work and stuff, but I do demolition. We've talked about that before. I'm doing demolition at the major seat manufacturing company for the big three and Tesla.
Nice.
And they have been doing a spring cleaning, I guess is what you call it, or summer cleaning. Mm-hmm. And they have been yeeting seats into dumpsters like crazy.
You give me some cool looking crap for the Jeep, I'll change my plan.
Well, I tell you what, I've been going through there secretly every single day,
Allegedly.
allegedly, and I've been like, and they have a lot of Nissan seats and stuff in there.
I don't want those.
Well, I tell you what, they had these Nissan, like the leather looks nicer than that, and it was heated and cooled seats. But they had the driver's seat, and it was missing like a couple of the plastics, and then they didn't have the passenger seat. And so I've been looking for a pair, but they haven't thrown a pair of anything out yet.
yeah.
Everything's been like either a driver or a passenger or a rear seat.
Yeah.
And it's because it's a manufacturing plant or whatever. These are all
Yeah.
prototypes and stuff. But I've been like, I've
I've
been waiting.
I've
Every
still
day,
got,
every day they throw stuff in there, and I look.
Yeah, I quite literally, I don't know how many years ago this was. We were driving down a dirt road, saw a leather seat on the side of the road, like a car seat. This is my mom and I don't remember what we were driving at the time. and we scooped it up, and it was actually pretty funny as I noticed there were 3 of these in the ditch. So I grabbed one, and I grabbed the other, and some dude pulled up behind me, put his flashers on, picks the 3rd one up, walks it over, saying, "Hey, what happened? These just fall out of your car?"
Okay.
He's like, "No, we found them. I thought they were yours while you were walking up. We're to try and find the owner, thinking they might be, down the road or something."
Okay.
Never did find them, so I kept them forever, for a long, long time. I did eventually give 2 of them away, but I still have the one in my garage. They are prototype seats for like a 2000, 2001 Chrysler Town and Country. And I found prototype tags on the back. And that's my garage chair.
How the heck they ended up in a ditch? I mean,
I have no idea.
yeah.
On a back dirt road. Yeah, I don't know if this was the equivalent of, quote unquote, fell off a truck kind of thing. Or somebody, yanked them from somewhere and...
No idea, man. That's weird.
I mean, you know where I'm at. Unfortunately, a lot of...
Shady
I'll
stuff
just
happens.
call them indecent people just dump stuff on back roads.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever do it to an animal, you're a bad person, and I hope you burn.
Is that how you got that really tiny horse?
No, that one was a rescue kind of thing.
Oh.
He was...
The horse likes whiskey, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Anyways.
He's pretty cool. He's an angry-looking little thing, but he's cool. But no, that's my garage chair.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, that's leather, too, ironically. I, at one point, was going to swap it into something, but it's my garage chair.
Well, speaking of your projects and stuff, man, I've been doing a lot of talking so far. I want to hear what's going on with Project XJ, which is the Great Bourbon Race bet. Like, are you going to have it out there? Or if not, are you going to talk about Pegasus? But still, the bet is XJ. So.
Oh, yeah, the bet is for XJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pegasus is quote-unquote support at this point. So the vehicle situation, like I said, the truck, it leaks gas. The exhaust comes in when I'm at a stoplight. It's doing a new thing now within the last few days where it likes to... almost like it's going to stall, like it's misfiring, and then it's fine. Ironically, I noticed if I change the shifting and then go up, it goes away for the most part. It lessens. I mean, it's an old truck. It's getting up there.
You're talking the old Chevy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Project XJ updates, kind of not much. I think I fixed the welder. I have been working actually every single day since we last recorded. I've changed some work availability so that I can actually get this thing done, because if I don't get something done that's not going to risk falling apart every time I hit the brakes, I'm not going to be able to drive to work or come here or do anything.
I thought you were going to say you didn't want to lose the bet on a bottle of bourbon.
Well, I'm cheap, and there's that, but this was actually already set in place before the bet. Because, like I said, with 1 day off a week, I can't get anything done. So that was set in place, but I acquired a new upgrade part.
You did what?
I acquired a new upgrade part.
Oh, acquired. I think it's a cord. I'm like, what do you mean cord?
So the truck's name, or the Jeep's name, was Murphy. So if anybody here follows the gentleman who named his WJ Murphy, I bought the engine from it. He blew a 4.0. Imagine that.
Okay.
One of the late model 4.0s. I bought it for parts. And he had a 160 amp Durango alternator on it.
Nice.
Now I have a 160 amp alternator.
This is the 4.0 that had a turbo on it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we talked about it briefly. So I got the
yeah.
warranty all taken care of on the alternator. And so I'm going to be upgrading the alternator. If you remember at any point we talked about, I went through all of this bracket swap and scrapyard, junkyard hunting to find these brackets to swap in the late model 130 amp alternator from a ZJ.
Uh-huh.
Not realizing that it was a 94, 95 year brake. Mine's a 94.
Uh-huh.
The 95 up was the good one. It was 100 amp or 130 amp, something like that.
94 is no good?
The 90 amp, or the 94 is a 90 amp alternator. I already had a 90 amp alternator. So I went through all this to swap the brackets, thinking I'd have a bigger alternator to put the same rating in.
But at least you have the brackets there that you
That
can...
was exactly it.
Yeah.
And now I have the alternator to swap.
Oh, okay. All right.
So all the provisions are there. I might have to grind a little clearance off of it, but that'll be a simple swap. It's kind of supplemental to anything, but big beefy alternator.
I've never really worried about alternator size, just because.
I don't have a lot of draw, but the winch that's going on it is pretty beefy.
Yeah.
So it's an old worn 12K.
Can I have it?
So no.
Oh.
I got it from my uncle years ago.
I remember
So,
you went down to
yeah.
Florida for it, didn't you?
Not specifically for it, but coincidentally, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I got that. Rescued it from Florida. Ironically, a couple years later, massive flood that would have flooded it and ruined it. So I saved it.
Saved it.
Yeah.
It's a rescue like my kitten.
Yeah. Rescued him from the shed. What of it? All 5 of the cats in that room were rescued.
Oh my God. So,
True story. If anyone's looking for a cat, I got some beautiful cats we need to rehome.
are you still getting rid of them things?
There's really only 2 more that we're looking to rehome, if that. But at this point, we're probably stuck with them all.
Johnny Orange has got cats available in Michigan, so if anyone's looking for a cat,
yes. They're beautiful, long hair. One's super friendly, one is not.
they're all long hair.
Yeah.
Oh, ew.
Oh, they're pretty though.
I mean, it's pretty, but man, they shed like crazy and
yeah.
stuff.
Oh
yeah.
God, yeah. You go. It's a pink carpet in that room, but it's more like a black and pink because he just rolls everywhere.
They're black long hairs.
One of them. There's 3 gray ones. One of is gray and white. The Mama Kitty and Shadow, mine, are all gray. There's Cole, who's all black, and then Sprinkles, who is black and white.
You named all the kittens?
The one that I'm keeping, yes, my mom and Dad named the rest.
Well, when you name them, you're keeping them.
Well, yeah, that's why I said we're probably selling them. Anywho. Pegasus should be back on the road within the next night or 2 here. I got really, 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 really lucky. I got everything lined up with the bolts, and I only had to clearance. I did not have to cut into the main structure of that grill assembly. I just had to clearance the radiator mount.
Oh, good.
And it was an area that I had already had to cut into a little bit, so I cut a little bit more. I got it so I had about a 1/4 inch of clearance all the way around the lines, routed them, and then I ran out of cable clamps.
Oh, geez.
So I got more of those today. I got the lines all hooked up. Everything's all bled out. It's running. I got most of it bolted up last week and then ran into an issue. I couldn't get 6 bolt holes to line up for the inner fenders. Messed with that today. Turns out the trick is a longer pry bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Leverage, man. Leverage.
When you go from a 1 foot to a 2.5 foot, you're almost there.
It'll fit.
But when you switch to a 5 foot, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So I got 5 of the 6 holes to line up. And yeah, everything's ready. I just, like I said, I had to get clamps and some more zip ties to hold some things back that I had to cut. So she should be back on the road. Again, still on very borrowed time. It's a little unsettling when you're trying to flick a bolt out with a screwdriver where it doesn't need to be. And you turn the driver the wrong way and it goes into your frame. That's a little unsettling.
Yeah.
So it's on very borrowed time.
It is.
But yeah, the plan later this week, to get that welder fired back up, start burning more metal in. So,
Dude, I'm telling you, I still am rooting for the idea that I had before, and I think I said it on the podcast before. 05 to 16 Super Duty frame swap that you shorten the frame to fit under the TJ. You get the Dana 60 front. You get
wait, we never discussed this.
So here's what I'm thinking. And it's the same thing I'm thinking about doing with the FJ60.
Keep talking, because at this point, most of my frame I feel is shot.
So
continue.
One of the strongest factory frames built in modern days, with some of the best axles built in modern days, is the Ford F250 350 Super Duty.
Okay.
So, and it's driver drop axle. So
I'm liking this.
What I'm thinking of is taking for my Land Cruiser, and I think you could do the same thing for your TJ, no problem.
My head's already running when we keep talking.
Taking 05 to 7 or 16 chassis, which you can pick up rolling chassis the guys have parted out, because there's millions of those trucks now. You can pick up those trucks, pretty regularly in the 800 to 1,000 range, but if you really shop around, you can get them for $400 or $500. So you get the Dana 60 front, you get the Sterling rear, you get the coil spring radius front. So all we got to do, and it's a heavy, like, I think they're about a 10-inch C channel
Holy
frame.
crap.
Okay, it might be shorter than that, but it's a
Okay.
very thick gauge steel.
Yeah.
You take the Super Duty frame, you literally, like I would do for the Land Cruiser, and you do the same for the TJ. Like me, I'd be going now to a driver drop axle, so I'm talking my whole drivetrain changes. But for you, it wouldn't. You could use your whole drivetrain because you're already a driver drop axle.
Keep talking. I got a better idea. I'm going to
So
supplement this with
you
in a
cut
minute.
the thing in half, take like 3 feet out of the middle of a Super Duty chassis, weld the thing together, put your Jeep body on top. Now you've got yourself a radius arm coil spring Dana 60 front, Sterling rear, cheap. You know, you drop your diesel back into it. I think that's the way you need to go.
I can make it better.
Huh.
Still do my TJLJ bastardization
Okay.
onto that, so I don't even have to cut the frame.
Well, it depends on the length, but yeah, okay, gotcha.
It'd be pretty long. I might still have to trim it, but not as much, maybe.
So maybe if you ran like a Super Duty regular cab 8-foot bed frame.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
the shortest version you can get.
Okay. I'd probably sell it to... Anyways. And then get that NV4500 trains. Because I'll have the height from the frame mounts to
Sure.
the body.
Sure. Telling you, I mean, you go all the 1-ton, the heavy duty stuff.
I need to win the lottery so I can start buying parts in a barn and get the hell out of my house. So I can move into my own
It's just a
place.
way to go. Did you see, by the way, I drove Brat Pack the other day?
I did, yeah.
Everybody
Nice.
thinks the thing just is dead. I threw
Oh, I
a
knew
battery
it. I
in it,
know
some
it
gas,
runs.
and it fired up.
I knew it ran. I just
Yeah.
know the axle is like empty.
So I drove it
Reminds
around
me
on
I
the front
should
axle, yes.
Probably check my rear diff.
I drove around on my front axle because my rear's blown. But
Yeah.
yes, I did drive Brat Pack around the yard,
Nice.
my 84 FJ60.
Nice.
She's alive, but that's not part of our bet or anything.
No.
She's mothballed until
Yep.
Super Duty's done and everything. But
That's kind of where I'm at. Like I said, Pegasus is borrowed time to get me to and from work, and that's pretty much going to be it right now.
and that's pretty much the excursion.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how it is. So.
Yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is.
Man, I mean, I think we're really on a good track here. Both of us are working on our projects. You're actually turning wrenches on Pegasus, not XJ, which is the wrong truck to be turning wrenches on, but
Well, either way, like with Brat Pack, I got to move it out of the way.
true. And that was me the other day moving Brat Pack out of the way.
Yeah.
So, now the Brat Pack's out of the way, I can pull a Super Duty in, or whatever we're going to call that thing. We'll maybe do a poll or
King
something.
Cummins.
King Cummins. I don't know. I'm.
It's a catchy name.
It's not bad. I'll admit that it's not bad. I think there's got to be something that just hits me that's like, ooh, boom, you know?
I understand that. That's the way I'm about. Oh, I almost forgot. So you're talking about smoking prices and deals on stuff.
Yeah.
I got it in on someone on eBay finally. It's been a while.
Okay.
Kind of a, sticking it to the man kind of thing.
Okay.
This is not much. This is stupid, but I'm amused by it.
All right.
So I putting together a training rig of tactical gear for work.
All right.
And there was one particular product I've been looking for. It's a rescue tool, strap cutter, glass breaker, things like that.
I've heard of those.
Yeah. And I've been hunting this thing for a while for a decent price.
Aren't they only like $20?
Yeah, I'm looking at a Benchmade one. So
okay.
retail's $100.
Ooh.
This guy had it for $90. Well, my price through work is much, much better and reasonable. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you that off the air because I can't talk about that. So I will allegedly tell you off the air. So this guy had this thing listed for $90. I'm a cheap SOB, so I lowball offer him. And I went through 3 or 4 offers until I got to $75. Declined, like immediately. I think at that point they were pissed off at me.
No, he's got an automatic. You can automatically set it.
When they do that, it's an immediate response. Mm-hmm. When it takes 24 hours or it takes longer than immediate, it's still left up to them.
Gotcha.
So that's how I knew it was that. Excuse me. So, about 2 weeks goes by after that last offer was declined. The guy drops the price to $75. That I get on there and I offered him 70, and he took it.
There you go, man. There you go.
It amused me.
John, I think we've probably covered all of our updates that we are working on right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I think next week, hopefully I got some updates. Although I think next week I've been wanting to do another history episode. It's been a while. I kind of want to do like a tech history episode, so our listeners may have to wait a couple weeks before they hear some updates on our,
Projects.
great bourbon race here.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about doing.
Remember that'll actually have some.
I just,
updates, hopefully.
I was talking to some of our old time listeners, and they were saying like, "Hey, we haven't done anything like that in a while." So I was thinking maybe next week we do a history episode, or at least a little bit of like a vehicle specific episode. So
I like it.
We might do that, and then. But anyways, as always, if you are interested in learning more, John and I are both involved in the Museum of Off-Road Adventure in Clay Township, Michigan. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as the Museum of Off-Road Adventure. You can find us on all of those. We are most active on Facebook. We're going to be open to the public very, very soon, probably this week. Probably by the time you hear this, actually, we will be open to the public again. And then, John, you have some things?
Yep. So if you want to join our Facebook group, 4x4 Talk, just get on Facebook, type it in, 4x4 Talk. A couple quick questions get you on the page. Check it out. Check out this poll that we're talking about here. Vote for the name King Cummins to win it for the project.
If I remember to put it up. I'm hoping I do, but...
Yeah, now you can post some pictures, talk about different builds, ask technical questions, post whatever you want there. Hopefully keep it 4x4 related. But just kind of a way to interact with amongst the listeners and us. I apologize. I know I get tagged in a lot of stuff and post. I share more than I am involved in it. I'm not on it a lot, so I apologize for that. I'm not ignoring anybody. I'll eventually go through and catch up on all that stuff, but I'm pretty bad about it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that is what it is, man.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to enlighten people on our Wheels in the Woods coming up here.
Oh, yeah. Wheels in the Woods, October 9th, 2021, Clay Township, Michigan. Best way to find out about the event and to say that you're coming to the event and any updates is to go on Facebook and look up Wheels in the Woods 2021. By looking that up, you will find the event. Like I said, Clay Township, Michigan. We have lowered the entry fee this year. We are going to have just about the same amount of awards. We've kind of streamlined a few things, but it's going to be a great event. We're going to have some great times, trivia contests, things like that. If you are a 4x4 enthusiast, car enthusiast, because we are still this year, our board has decided we're going to still this year invite other cars, vehicles. It's an all-vehicle show. Of course, we heavily focus on 4x4s, but we want to let our automotive brethren come to the show and enjoy it as well.
Yeah, we had a military vehicle. It was like a 6x6 out there last year.
We had a military
like
vehicle.
That was cool.
We had a jacked-up Ford Crown Victoria. I mean,
remember that.
We had some crazy stuff there. So
there were some awesome trucks and cars out there for
you
sure.
need to come to Wheels in the Woods 2021, folks. It's going to be a great time again this year, October 9th. You got to be on the grounds by 10 a.m., and then the show goes till about 3 or 4 o'clock. So, spend 4 or 5 hours with us in the middle of the day. Both Johnny Orange and myself will be there.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a lot of fun this year. Make sure you get out that way.
Yeah, and if you want to have some extra fun, make sure to check us out, patreon.com/WheelinRadio. A couple bucks, $2 I think is the lowest tier we got right now. Gets you some extra content on there, some stuff we don't talk about. It's actually kind of cool. We have some storylines, I was thinking the other day, that only occur there, not on the regular show.
On 4x4 Talk?
Yeah.
We've been kind of getting that way, haven't we?
Yeah, and I'm all right with that. So that gives everybody, hopefully, something else to aspire to check out and listen to.
Yeah.
We do have a bunch of free episodes, too. I made everything from our first year free and a couple sporadic episodes from last year that we had a lot of fun with. So you can check that out if you like it. Hit that subscribe on there. Like I said, as low as $2 a month. If you like this show and that show, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and then share it so that anybody else on your friends list who likes that stuff can check it out and hopefully get the same level of enjoyment.
I do want to mention briefly, we do ask for your email when you join 4x4 Talk, and we do not sell your email to anyone, and we do say on there that we may eventually have prizes and things like that. You have not gotten any emails from us. We've put you all into our email system. We have not sent out any mass emails as of yet. So, this is not something where you're going to hear from us 5 times a week. But we are collecting your emails, and we do have an email system that we're still figuring out. probably within a couple of months here, we're going to start offering some giveaways and things like that and some email specials. So if you do sign up on 4x4 Talk, please give us your email. We're not, like I said, we're not going to sell it and we're not going to spam you. We don't have the time to send you out 18 emails a day. Yeah. So you might get an email once a month or something. So please send us your email when you do that.
So with that all, I suppose we'll say thanks for listening and have a good one, everybody.